Hey, look at this. We've got official New York City Department of Sanitation trash receptacles here on Convent Avenue, a few blocks from my home. And, it's worth stopping and thinking about because this is just one manifestation of a program started by Transportation Alternatives, a campaign maybe 3 or 4 years ago called 25 by 25. And the idea was by 2025, we should repurpose 25% of our curbside space away from the low or no cost parking for private cars at the curb and towards public uses that everyone in the neighborhood can enjoy and needs. And this is one of them. Since time out of mind, I grew up in New York City. We had this terrible practice of storing our trash on the sidewalk. And the reason why is that everyone somehow came to believe that the highest best use for the space on the street next to the curb was for allowing people to park for free or maybe at a meter charge during certain hours of the day. And because so much of the public space was devoted to the storage of people's private cars, the only place to put the trash was on the sidewalk. You'd have trash bag full of rats. You'd be standing next to a big green trash bag. It would start vibrating and undulating, and you could tell there were a bunch of rats in there. It was pretty freaky. You have roaches, you have all kinds of vermin when the garbage is out there in the street. And then the sanitation crews would come along with their trucks. Guy would hop out of the truck, start grabbing plastic bags and trying to swing them into the back so they could go into the hydraulic press. But not everyone buys the heavy-duty garbage bags. Some people have really flimsy garbage bags, and you'd see a sanitation worker flinging a bag into the truck to have it open and spray the garbage all over the street, creating a bigger problem. Well, this is a solution that should have been implemented decades ago. Why was our city so dirty? And the reason why is cars. And I call it car blindness, the fact that people just cannot imagine streets not given over to cars. They are blind to the possibilities of what we could use our public realm for. Better sanitation, much less outdoor dining, which is another one of the uses that the 25 by 25 program is promoting, that promotes jobs and culture and outdoor dining experiences here in New York City. Obviously, bike share and bike racks are another important product of the 25 by 25 program, and daylighting. The elimination of parking spaces at the corners of intersections so that people have a clear line of sight, a daylight line of sight to the traffic about to enter the intersection from the intersecting road, right? So you can see what's coming, you can slow down as someone's coming and avoid hitting them. The pedestrians can see and the motorists can see each other. Maybe they can meet eyes and negotiate that transaction at the intersection. All of that is made possible by repurposing some, not all, but some, 25% of the curbside spaces away from free parking from people who've decided they want to have a car in New York City and that all the rest of us who don't own cars should pay for it. The majority of people who live in New York City do not own cars. The majority of households don't even have cars. Most people use mass transit, foot, bike, plane, cruise ships. They come to New York in all sorts of ways. Drivers are not the majority coming into the city, but they insist and demand on the majority of space be allocated to them in our public realm. And there's really no explanation for it except that those drivers hold outsized influence in the halls of power in Albany and elsewhere. But the tide's turning. We've got 25 by 25 in New York City. We have a reinstituted congestion pricing program that'll be coming online on January 5th. Guess what? I think that's the day before the inauguration. Surprise, surprise. We've got all of these programs going to repurpose our streets to make the quality of life, the safety, the cleanliness, and just the general experience out in our public realm better here in New York City. And the people who get triggered by the idea that we're diminishing parking, people who think that, New York's, as I knew it, is going to die because I can't park easily for free on the street. That's not a New York that we need to cling to. That's not a New York that belongs in the 21st century, and I'm happy to see it go.